Hey everyone, welcome back to Gaming While Bearded. My name is Daniel. Today we're going to take a look at my top filler games. Now, what exactly is a filler? Well, it's kind of a placeholder. It's a game that is just there to kind of take up some time in between events. So if you're hosting a game night and you have a large game planned for the evening and you're just kind of killing time waiting for people to get there, or you're just killing time to kind of make your way up to a larger event. These are games that I would recommend in those situations. So we're going to take a look at the top 5 games that I bring out for fillers with my game group. And remember, these are all from my own personal collection, so these are ones that I would personally use. I think that they would work well for anyone. But of course, there are a lot more out there that you can check out. So before we get into the actual top 5, it was kind of hard for me to narrow everything down. I've got a couple of honorable mentions that I want to talk about. The first one is kind of the most mass-produced game that I think you can find, and that's called What Do You Meme? This is something that my wife was really interested in. Every time we would go to Target, she would always look at this box and say how cool it was because I'd always drag her to the board game section. And it's something we've had a lot of fun with. It's basically apples to apples using pictures or memes. You have a meme that's out, you have a little cardboard easel that you put it on, and then everyone plays a card from their hand as the description for whatever that meme is. It's a hysterical game. I will give you a heads up. There are some very inappropriate cards for children inside of this box, but they are separate from every other card in the game, so you don't have to play with them if you don't want to. So it can be family friendly, or it can be something more adult themed if you want it to be. But that's What Do You Meme? There are a lot of expansions out there that add additional cards, additional photographs, but it's something that you can even use photos on your phone or photos from family albums and kind of throw into the game. So it's pretty cool to get to the table, and it's one that our game group plays a lot. Next is one of the original social deduction games, or at least as far as I've been able to find, something that hit the market by storm and really kind of put social deduction on the map. And it's a little bit of an older game now, but it still holds up, and that is The Resistance. This is one of the games we used to play all of the time, and I think we just kind of got played out on it. But basically, everyone gets a hidden role or a hidden card. It tells you whether you're a member of the Resistance or whether you're a member of this evil corporation that the Resistance is fighting. And you're trying to figure out who each person is. And if you send people on missions and they happen to be members of this corporate entity you're fighting, then you're going to fail that mission. And if you fail too many missions, then the evil corporate team's going to win. If you succeed a certain number of times, then the Resistance is going to win. It is a lot of fun. And it plays a lot of people. So highly recommend this one if you get a chance to get your hands on it. There are some that are probably better than this now, but it's an oldie and a goodie, and something that I'm definitely going to hang on to, even though we don't play it as much as we used to. And last but not least, before we get into the actual top 5, is the only Sushi Go Party, an excellent card drafting game. Card drafting is where you get a hand of cards, you select one card, and then you're going to pass your hand to your opponent. You'll receive a new hand from the person on your other side. You'll select a card and pass again. A very simple game where you build a sushi menu and you're trying to build up different collections of sushi in front of you to collect the most points. It plays very quickly. It's only 3 rounds. Sushi Go Party plays up to 8 people. I don't think many people would get just regular Sushi Go anymore. Sushi Go Party has so much more in it, and it's a very inexpensive game. All of the games that I just showed do not take long to play. What Do You Mean? You can play as many rounds as you want to. The Resistance and Sushi Go probably play in 15 to 20 minutes. So once again, very fast, just trying to fill time in between some larger groups of games. So now that we got the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get to the real top 5. Okay, everyone, it's time to get to the top 5 filler games recommended from Gaming While Bearded's board game collection. So number 5 is going to go to Love Letter. Love Letter took the board gaming world by storm years ago. It has numerous variations that are out. I've personally only played the original, and I think the game is lovely for what it is. It actually is getting an upgrade this year. I think it came out in January of this year, where the game goes up to 8 players now. The box that I have only goes up to 4, so we don't play it as often as I would like. But the game is simple. It comes with a deck of cards, and it comes with some cubes, and a rulebook. That's it. The whole concept is that you're carrying a love letter and you're trying to get it to the princess. Easy enough. Every person is going to draw a card, and then on their turn they're going to draw another card. So you're going to have 2 cards in your hand, and then you're going to play one of those cards and take the action on it. And you're going to try to deduct who each character is and who they're playing. And once all the cards are gone, you're going to want to be the person who has the highest value card in their hand, or you're going to try to eliminate all the other players by, certain card abilities. Very simple, interactive game, and it's so easy to teach. One of the best experiences I had with this game was playing with my wife and her parents when we were at the beach one year during a storm. And we probably played, 5 or 6 games just back to back to back to back because it was so easy. An amazing filler game. It's a little dated, it's old, but you know what? If it's good and it's old, it gets reprinted, and it got its reprint this year. So highly recommend Love Letter, a very inexpensive game, unless you're buying the new reprint. The reprint's going to run you about $25, but a very small box, nicely done. Love Letter, highly recommended. My number 5. So what's next after Love Letter? How can it get better than that? Well, let's move on to Gaming While Bearded's number 4 on the top 5 filler games list, and that is going to go to For Sale. For Sale is an auction bidding style game. It has 2 parts. The first part, you get a little bit of cash and you're going to start buying some properties. And in the second half, you're going to be selling those properties and trying to have the most money at the end of the game. The bidding mechanisms and the way that you sell the properties is pretty genius because you do kind of like a blind bidding action, and you're trying to outbid everyone else, but you want to save your power cards for when those big dollars are going to be on the table. So do you play your cards now or do you hold them? Well, it's like the old country song says, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So this game brings all that to the table. It's an easy game again, just a set of cards, some cardboard tokens. That's it. And it's a lot of fun. And it can play, a lot of people at one time. So this is something that we can get to the table easily. Whenever we have a game night, we, at minimum, have 5 people there. And we never break off into smaller groups and have multiple games going. We all like to play together. So this is one that allows us to do that, unlike Love Letter, where the one I have only goes up to 4 players. This one can play 8 or more. This one can play up to 6. So it's great for that. So as long as we got 6 people at the table, this is probably going to be there too. My number 4, For Sale. My number 3 on this list is one of my all-time most played games. I got it for Christmas one year. We played it with our group of friends, and it has just been, it just goes strong, and it still continues to go for us. This is actually my 2nd copy of this game because we've played it so much, and that just happens to be One Night Ultimate Werewolf. In my opinion, one of the best social deduction games that you'll be able to find on the market. One of the probably other mass-produced games, or at least that you'll be able to find in big box stores all over the place. It has a great mobile app that actually runs the game for you, so you don't need a moderator for it. It is quick, it is smooth. The roles explanation is great, so you know what you're doing between the day and the night phase as individual characters. It has a lot of individual roles throughout in the box. The game can play up to 10 people. This is just 100% all kinds of fantastic. So highly recommend this to anyone who gets large groups of people together. Being honest, Werewolf is a great series. You can have a lot of fun with it, but if you don't like the player elimination aspect of true Werewolf, then this gives you all of that in one round, and then you can immediately reset the table and get back to playing again. One of my all-time favorite games, but only number 3 on the filler list. That means I've got 2 that are going to top this in my opinion. Let's see what comes up next. So what's better than being a villager and hunting down werewolves? Well, kicking in the door of a dungeon is a great start. My number 2, Welcome to the Dungeon. One of the smallest box games that I own, but packs one of the biggest punches that I've ever seen. Welcome to the Dungeon is a great bluffing game where you're going to select a character to go through a dungeon and fight through all of these monsters. And you have the opportunity to add monsters to the dungeon to make it more difficult, or to take a monster away and not add it to the dungeon dungeon, but you're going to take away a piece of equipment from the hero that's running through it to make it more challenging. So no matter what your decision is, you're making that dungeon harder. The key is, do you want to take that hero through the dungeon? Or do you want to call everyone else's bluff and kind of back out for this round? Because only one person goes through the dungeon, and you either make it through or you don't. First person to 2 points wins, but 2 losses means you're out of the game. So make your decisions well, and Welcome to the Dungeon is a great filler. And number 1, the number 1 game on Gaming While Bearded's top 5 filler list, one of the games that probably gets played at every game night that I've hosted in the last couple of years. Bang the Dice game. This game is incredible. It's got social deduction. It's got a great Western theme built into it. It's got individual player powers. It has amazing custom dice that are built in for the game that just feel good. You love the way they roll on the table. You have arrows that you need to worry about. You got beer guzzling that's going to help give you some points. You got Gatling guns. You got dynamite. And you got shooting them up going all the way around the table. And it is a lot of fun. It is great whenever you can go through and pull off the perfect scheme so that you can kind of weasel your way through and be the person to take out the sheriff for that outlaw win. Or you being the renegade and being that one person who's sneaking in and pretending to be everyone and being the last one standing. This game truly has it all. I have never had a bad experience playing this game or teaching it to a group of people, and there has never been an instance where we've played this game that the group didn't want to play it one more time. And that is what board gaming is all about, bringing people together for an experience like no other. There's just something about sitting around a table, laughing, having a great time, and enjoying the experience enough that you want to share that experience again with that same group of people. Bang the Dice game brings that and so much more. Out of everything on this list, if I were to recommend anything that you go out and get right now, this box is going to be it. It has a couple of expansions that are out there. I own the Old Saloon expansion, which comes highly recommended by a lot of other board game reviewers. Being honest, I've never even played with it before because everybody that we play with has so much fun just in this box. Yeah, it's got player elimination, so whenever you're out, but the game goes so quickly. I mean, I'm talking 10, 15 minutes, and the first player isn't eliminated until maybe 5, 6 minutes into the game. And if you're out first in an early game, odds are the second game you're going to be the one that people aren't going to really pick on as much. But it's got everything else that we enjoy. So once again, out of everything that you've seen on this list today, whether you agree with me or not, Bang the Dice game is where it's at. This is probably my most played game of all time because every time we have a game night, we play this 2, 3, 4, 5 times based on the number of people that we have. And it is always a hit. And probably the best investment that I've ever gotten in buying, a cardboard box full of cards and dice and a couple cardboard tokens. So Gaming While Bearded highly recommends Bang the Dice game. And while I highly recommend everything else on this list, that game right there really is the bee's knees. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the first list that I've ever tried to put together. It's really hard to narrow these things down. So I've got a couple other ones I'm putting together, and I still have honorable mentions on those lists. Just as a reminder, whenever I put these lists together, I'm looking at what's in my own personal collection. Not what I've played before, but what I personally own. If you've got any other additional ones that you'd like to share with the internet, please do so in the comments below. Give me some feedback on how you think my lists stack up to your own individual tastes. Like I said, the best thing about board gaming is that there is something out there for everyone. It's not just about individual tastes. We just like to share them with people. So let me know what your favorite filler games are. I'd love the opportunity to check out some more and play test them with some of the people in our group. So once again, thank you very much for watching. I'm Daniel with Gaming While Bearded, and we'll see you next time.